Listen to me, daughter. Let me speak into your heart tonight. There is a great difference between being admired by people and being truly beloved by God. The world may clap for your beauty, your success, or your achievements. But when heaven calls a woman beloved, that is a love no storm can shake, no enemy can steal, and no trial can diminish. A woman beloved by God is not simply existing. She is moving in divine purpose. She is more than her name, more than her mistakes, more than the labels others tried to place on her. When God fixes His eyes on her, storms may rage, whispers may come, challenges may rise, but she does not fall because she is wrapped in His grace. And here is why you cannot look away from this message. Somewhere deep within your spirit, you already know this word is speaking to you, or to the women who shaped your journey. Your mother, your sister, your daughter, your wife. When God pours His love upon a woman, nations are moved, homes are restored, hearts are healed. Stay with me. Don't miss the closing of this word, because before tonight ends, you'll not only understand what it means to be beloved by God, but also how to walk in that love every single day of your life. A woman beloved by God carries something the world cannot always recognize. The world has its systems, its scales, its standards of worth. It judges beauty by what is seen, strength by position, and character by recognition. But heaven does not measure the way earth does. When God calls a woman beloved, He is not looking at what man applauds. He is looking at what eternity crowns. Her worth is not found in the mirror of society, but in the reflection of her spirit. The truth is, outward beauty is fragile. It fades with time. It shifts with age and seasons. But inner strength, now that is eternal. A woman beloved by God knows her life cannot be built on what shifts like sand in the wind. She understands true strength is not muscle, not money, not worldly power. True strength is her ability to remain unshaken when life shakes her world. She may not look like the strongest person in the room, but when trials come, she is the one who still stands when others collapse. That is the strength heaven honors. Her strength is born of faith. It is courage that keeps her standing, wisdom that helps her choose what is right instead of what is easy, and a heart that trusts even when the outcome is hidden. Faith marks her life. She does not walk by sight alone. She walks by vision, by trust, by confidence that God's hand is on her, even when she cannot see the full picture. People may count her out, but faith counts her in. Faith is her anchor in storms and her wings in the calm. She does not fear the unknown because faith whispers, He is with you. She does not bend under the opinions of others because her confidence is rooted in something higher. Faith gives her a boldness the world cannot explain. It allows her to face rejection without losing dignity, to wait patiently without losing hope, to carry heavy burdens without losing joy. And this faith is not loud or showy. It is steady, quiet, and constant. It is the kind of faith that moves mountains, not only for her own life, but for her family, her community, and the generations that follow. Character is the crown jewel of a woman beloved by God. In a world that celebrates image, she carries integrity. In a culture that worships appearances, she treasures authenticity. Character is who she is when no one is watching, when the lights are gone, when the applause has faded. The woman beloved by God understands that character is not built in comfort, but in challenge. Every trial polishes her. Every disappointment purifies her. Every setback shapes her. She learns to forgive when bitterness would be easier. She chooses truth when lies would seem to profit more. She practices humility when pride might win quicker recognition. Her character is not for show. It is for legacy. It allows her children, her friends, her loved ones to look back and say, she walked with God. She lived with honor. And do not mistake her gentleness for weakness. Her softness is her strength. Her compassion is her weapon. Her love is her influence. When God calls a woman beloved, He does not strip her of her femininity. He empowers it. He makes her grace a force, her kindness a shield, her wisdom a compass. She becomes a safe haven in a dangerous world, a light in the dark, a healer of wounds she did not cause, a carrier of hope she did not borrow. This is what it means to be beloved by God. She does not beg for validation because her value has already been sealed by her Creator. She does not compete with anyone because her race is her own. She does not plead for acceptance because she knows she was already chosen. And when she enters a room, her confidence does not need to shout. It radiates. People may not always understand her peace, her resilience, her unshakable joy. That is because they are looking outward while God is working inward. When God's love rests upon her, it changes everything she touches. Even her struggles gain meaning. A woman beloved by God is not spared from trials. In fact, she may face more than most. But every hardship molds her. Every tear waters her destiny. Every scar tells a story of survival. Pain does not define her, it refines her. Loss does not weaken her, it prepares her. Rejection does not diminish her, it redirects her. And through it all, she rises taller, wiser, stronger, more radiant in spirit. While the world calls scars flaws, heaven calls them proof of faith. Her beauty is not in her appearance, but in her presence. It is in the peace she carries, the wisdom she shares, the love that flows from her. It is in how she lifts others without losing herself, how she gives without expecting anything back, how she loves without condition. Her life itself becomes a sermon, a reminder that true worth is not found in what is temporary, but in what is eternal. And when she is beloved by God, her influence goes far beyond her lifetime. Her prayers outlive her voice. Her character outshines her name. Her faith leaves a trail for others to walk. This kind of woman is not rare because God makes her rare. She is rare because the world cannot manufacture her. She cannot be bought. She cannot be branded. She cannot be built by man. She is formed by the very hand of God. She is beloved not for her perfection, but for her devotion. And once God places His love upon her, no one can take it away. No criticism can strip it. No failure can erase it. No enemy can cancel it. She is sealed, protected, treasured. That is why she carries a confidence different from the world. Because she knows she is held. The world may keep praising the surface, but the woman beloved by God proves that the surface is not enough. True strength is within. True beauty is soul deep. True character is eternal. In the end, it will not be the outward that lasts, but the inward. That is why her light shines brighter with every passing year. Outward beauty may fade, but inner beauty grows. Earthly crowns may rust, but heavenly crowns remain. Man's applause may grow silent, but God's love echoes forever. So if you want to see what it looks like when heaven honors a woman, watch the one who does not chase recognition, yet leaves an impact wherever she goes. Watch the one who does not flaunt her strength, yet carries burdens others could never bear. Watch the one who does not demand love, yet inspires it wherever she stands. That is the woman beloved by God. Her worth is eternal. Her strength is unshakable. Her faith is immovable, her character undeniable. And no matter what the world says, heaven has already named her chosen, treasured, beloved. A woman of prayer carries something the world cannot explain. Her strength is not taken from noise or chaos, but from the secret place where her heart meets God. She knows life will always bring storms, but prayer is her anchor. When others are tossed by emotion, she stands steady because her spirit is rooted in something far deeper than circumstance. She is not shaken by gossip, fear, or uncertainty because her foundation is built on prayer. She knows prayer is not just words thrown into the air. It is connection, alignment, a lifeline to the Creator of heaven and earth. Every step she takes is preceded by whispers of surrender. Every decision is covered with petitions. Every battle is first fought on her knees before it is ever faced in the open. Prayer is not her last resort, but her first response. It is not something she does only when life hurts. It is the rhythm of her life, the breath of her soul, the melody of her spirit. Because of prayer, her steps are guided. She does not wander blindly or stumble aimlessly. She seeks wisdom at every turn. And because she does, she is directed by divine order. Even when she cannot see the road ahead, she walks with confidence. Because prayer has already paved her way. The woman of prayer knows that the shortest path to clarity is not through the voices of the crowd, but through the voice of God. And because she listens, she moves with purpose. Her choices reflect heaven's wisdom. Her actions carry heaven's grace. Her timing aligns with heaven's order. Her heart is guarded not by walls of fear, but by the peace that comes through prayer. She does not need to shut people out to feel safe, because prayer has already built a shield around her spirit. That shield is not made of stone, but of trust. Not of hardness, but of surrender. She can love freely without fear of betrayal. She can give generously without fear of lack. She can forgive fully without fear of being diminished. Prayer has taught her that her heart is safest not in her own hands, but in God's. And because of this, she is free. Free from the need to please. Free from the pressure to prove. Free from the fear of rejection. A woman of prayer carries a different kind of confidence. Not arrogance, but assurance. It is the calm strength of someone who knows she is never alone. It is the steady peace of someone who has already spoken with heaven before facing the world. You can see it in her eyes. Peace even in pressure, joy even in sorrow, hope even in struggle. That kind of peace cannot be bought. It cannot be given by status. It is the fruit of prayer, the evidence of intimacy with God. Her prayer life shapes not only her, but also everything around her. Her family feels it. Her children walk in it. Her home carries its fragrance. She may not be loud, but her prayers echo louder than any words she could ever speak. When she kneels in secret, heaven moves in public. When she whispers in the quiet, mountains shift in the open. Her prayers are seeds sown in faith. They may not bloom instantly, but they grow into blessings that outlive her. She understands prayer is generational, that what she covers today will protect her children tomorrow, that what she intercedes for now will bless her grandchildren in years to come. And when life strikes hard, the woman of prayer does not panic. She bends her knees. She bows her head. She lifts her heart. She cries if she must. She wrestles if she must. But she never lets go of prayer. It is her weapon, her strength, her anchor. She fights battles unseen, not with anger or revenge, but with words of faith spoken in the stillness of prayer. And while others may underestimate her, because they cannot see her fight, heaven knows her as a warrior clothed in humility, her spirit anchored, her steps guided, her heart guarded. This is the power of prayer in her life. She does not fear tomorrow because she knows the one who holds tomorrow. She does not chase validation because her worth is already confirmed in God's presence. She does not cling for control because prayer has taught her the power of surrender, and so she walks tall, she walks free. She walks beloved. The beauty of this woman is not that she has no flaws or struggles. It is that she knows exactly where to take them. She lays them down in prayer. She does not pretend to have it all together, but she knows the one who holds it all together. She does not deny her pain, but she brings it into God's presence, where pain becomes purpose. And little by little, day by day, prayer transforms her pain into power, her weakness into strength, her confusion into clarity. She is not easily swayed by the noise of the world because her ears are tuned to a higher voice. She is not lost in distractions because her eyes are fixed on the one who directs her. Her whole life becomes living proof that prayer is not wasted breath, but the oxygen of the soul. She shows us that you can go further on your knees than you ever could on your feet alone. The woman of prayer does not live for herself alone. Her intercession covers others. Her faith carries those too weak to pray. She becomes a shield a covering, a lifeline for those tied to her. Her prayers pull blessings into the lives of others. Her petitions open doors for her family. Her cries before God release mercy for her community. And though she may never be recognized for it, heaven recognizes every word, every whisper, every tear. The reward of prayer is not only in what she receives, but in who she becomes. Her strength cannot be taken. Her peace cannot be shaken. Her love cannot be extinguished. She is rooted. She is anchored. She is guarded. The storms may come, but she will not be destroyed. The battles will rise against her, but she will not be broken. The storms will rage around her, but she will not fall. For a woman of prayer knows the true secret of victory. It is not found in pushing harder, but in yielding deeper to God. That is why her life carries a presence others cannot ignore. She does not run after attention, yet she carries influence. She does not demand respect, but by the way she lives, she earns it. She is beloved not only by the Lord, but by those who feel the power of her prayers. Because when a woman prays, heaven leans in to listen, the earth begins to shift, and generations are blessed through her faith. Her story is not written by the trophies of the world, but by victories unseen. It is about silent battles won when no one was watching, about quiet tears that turned into strength, about hidden faith that became visible through her life. This is the legacy of the woman of prayer. Not fleeting fame, not short-lived applause, but eternal impact. She will be remembered not only for what she accomplished, but for who she truly was. A woman whose spirit was anchored, whose steps were led, whose heart was guarded, because she chose to be a woman of prayer. Her worth is not tied to human approval, but comes from God's recognition. The world will attempt to measure her by shallow standards, by appearance, possessions, roles, or by the praise of others. But the woman beloved by God refuses to live chained to the opinions of people. She has learned that applause fades, validation is fragile, and approval can be given one day and snatched away the next. She does not build her identity on what shifts like the wind. Instead, she roots herself in what is eternal, the recognition of her Creator. She knows that being seen by God is far greater than being seen by the world. The world only notices what is on the surface, but God sees the depths of the heart. The world praises what is visible, but God treasures what is hidden. While others might overlook her sacrifices, her whispered prayers, her tears, and her quiet faithfulness, heaven records it all. And because she knows this truth, she walks differently. She does not chase recognition, she carries it within her. She does not beg to be noticed because she is already fully known. She does not compete for worth because she has already been chosen. When a woman is beloved by God, her life is not defined by the crowd. She does not rise or fall by the opinions of others. She does not live for compliments, for likes, or for applause. She understands that people are inconsistent. They will celebrate you today and forget you tomorrow. They will praise you in one season and criticize you in the next. If her worth depended on them, she would be shattered by their silence. But because her worth is secure in God, she stays whole even when others fail to see her value. God's recognition is different. It is not built on what she owns, but on who she is. It is not earned by performance, but received through grace. It is not temporary, but everlasting. When God sees a woman, He does not just see her present moment. He sees her past, her future, her potential. He sees every act of faith hidden from the world, every quiet sacrifice, every moment of integrity when no one else was watching. His recognition never fades with time. It follows her all the days of her life. This is why she can walk with confidence, even when she is overlooked. She can stand firm even when ignored. She can remain patient even when unacknowledged, faithful even when unnoticed. She knows heaven's recognition is worth far more than human applause. Because when God recognizes her, doors open that no hand can close. When God sees her, blessings are released that no one can block. When God affirms her, favor takes her into places her name was never even mentioned. The woman who is beloved by God has learned to lift her eyes away from people and fix them on heaven. She knows the approval of people is like chasing shadows, always shifting, never enough. But God's recognition is like light. It reveals, it affirms, it sustains. And when she walks in that light, she is free. Free from comparison, free from competing, free from the constant pressure to prove her worth. Her identity is not on trial. It has already been settled. This kind of woman is not shaken when others doubt her, because God has already called her worthy. She is not diminished when others dismiss her, because God has already chosen her. She is not destroyed when others betray her, because God has already affirmed her. Her worth is sealed by the voice that carries eternity, and no opinion can erase his decree. Even in her lowest seasons, she knows she is not invisible. When no one notices her tears, God keeps them. When no one values her sacrifices, God honors them. When no one acknowledges her faithfulness, God remembers. And because of this, she does not grow weary in doing good. She does not give up when rejected. She does not stop loving, serving, giving, because she knows heaven is keeping record. Her reward is not placed in the hands of men, but in the heart of God. This is her strength. She does not need to manipulate to be chosen. She does not need to compromise to be accepted. She does not need to conform to be loved. She stands tall in her identity, knowing she was fearfully and wonderfully made, set apart for divine purpose, clothed in divine favor. And because she believes this, she carries herself with quiet dignity. She does not shrink to fit into places that cannot hold her value, nor does she puff herself up to impress others. She simply walks with the confidence of being recognized by God. Her life becomes a living lesson to others caught in the exhausting cycle of people pleasing. She shows them that freedom comes not from chasing approval, but from resting in divine affirmation. She reminds them that worth is not something you run after, but something you already carry within. And when others witness her peace, her strength, her unwavering joy, they begin to realize there is a higher recognition worth living for. The woman beloved by God knows that human recognition may bring temporary applause, but God's recognition brings eternal destiny. People may lift her name for a season, but God lifts her purpose for eternity. People may forget what she has done, but God never forgets who she is. And when the world fades, when the applause grows silent, when names are forgotten, the recognition of God will remain. This truth reshapes everything for her. It reshapes how she sees herself, how she carries herself, how she lives each day. She is no longer desperate for affirmation because she is already affirmed. She is no longer insecure in her value because she is already established. She is no longer chained to opinions because she is already free, and this freedom gives her power. Power to love without fear. Power to give without expecting in return. Power to walk boldly in her calling. She knows her identity is not tied to her past failures, nor to her current struggles, nor to her future uncertainties. Her identity is bound to the unchanging recognition of God. And because He calls her worthy, she lives worthy. Because He names her chosen, she walks chosen. Because He declares her beloved, she radiates love. This is the beauty of the woman whose worth is secured in God's recognition. She is steady where others are shaken, whole where others are broken, confident where others are insecure. She does not need to scream for attention because her life itself is a voice. She does not need to prove her worth because her existence already reflects it. She does not need to run after the approval of others because she has already been pursued and claimed by God's love. Her story is not one of endless striving, but of resting. Resting in the truth that she is enough. Not because people say so, but because God says so. And His voice is the only one that matters. That voice carries her through rejection, through misunderstanding, through seasons of invisibility. That voice whispers to her in the silence, "You are mine, you are worthy, you are loved." And when she hears that voice, she knows she needs nothing else. Her worth is not defined by people's opinions, but by God's recognition. And in that truth, she stands unshaken, unbent, unbroken. She is free. She is whole. She is powerful. She is beloved. And no matter what the world says, no matter how others see her, no matter what life throws her way, she knows she is already seen, already chosen, already known. That is the power of being beloved by God. She carries dignity, wisdom, and grace into her home and her community. These are not masks she puts on for display, but the very essence of who she is. Her dignity is not built on titles, possessions, or outward status, but on the deep assurance of knowing her worth. She does not lower herself to be accepted, nor does she exalt herself to be noticed. Her dignity shines in how she speaks, how she walks, and how she faces both triumph and trial. Even when life weighs heavy on her shoulders, she does not let hardship steal her composure. She is steady, calm, and centered because her identity is rooted in something greater than circumstance. In her home, dignity becomes the foundation. It is seen in how she honors herself, how she loves those entrusted to her, and how she carries responsibility with humility instead of pride. She teaches without shouting. She leads without controlling. She nurtures without losing her own worth. Her children watch and learn what it means to stand tall without arrogance, to love deeply without losing boundaries, to face hardships without sacrificing values. Her family sees her as a pillar, not because she dominates, but because she embodies strength wrapped in humility. Wisdom flows through her like a river that waters everything around her. She knows that knowledge alone is not enough. Wisdom is knowledge applied with discernment. She does not rush recklessly into decisions, nor does she stay paralyzed in fear. She waits, she listens, she prays, she considers carefully. And because of this, her words hold weight. When she speaks, others listen, not because her voice is loud, but because it is rooted in truth. Her wisdom was not built in ease, but forged in the fire of experience. She has walked through seasons that taught her patience, endured trials that gave her strength, faced disappointments that gave her perspective. She knows what it is to lack, and what it is to have, what it means to lose, and what it means to rebuild. And through it all, her wisdom has been refined like gold tested in flames. She does not waste her pain. She turns it into lessons. She does not hide her scars. She shares them as testimonies. And through this, her community finds guidance and hope in her. Grace is the garment she wears daily, and it shows in the way she lives. Grace is not weakness. It is not passivity. Grace is strength under control, kindness under pressure, beauty that flows from within. Her grace is seen in her ability to forgive even when wronged, to lift others even when weary, to keep believing in goodness even when surrounded by evil. She has the power to fight, but she chooses peace. She has the right to speak harshly, but she chooses words that heal. She has every reason to quit, but she chooses to rise. That is grace. In her home, grace is like a fragrance that fills every room. It eases tension, heals wounds, and creates an atmosphere of love. Her children grow in the safety of her grace, learning that mistakes do not define them, that love does not abandon, that growth is always possible. Her spouse and loved ones feel the warmth of her presence because her grace makes home a sanctuary. She is not perfect, but she walks in humility that lets love cover imperfections. Grace does not take away her strength. It magnifies it. In her community, her dignity, wisdom, and grace ripple outward. She becomes more than a person, she becomes an influence. People look up to her not because she seeks attention, but because her life speaks naturally. Her dignity shows them you can live with respect even in a world that dishonors. Her wisdom shows them you can make choices with integrity even when shortcuts look easier. Her grace shows them you can respond to life's harshness with kindness without losing strength. She is a peacemaker, a counselor, a guide. She knows when to speak and when to stay silent, when to push and when to wait, when to correct and when to comfort. And because she carries herself this way, she leaves an imprint that lingers even after she walks away. Her community respects her not only for her actions, but for her character. She is proof that true influence does not come from position, but from authenticity. Her dignity, wisdom, and grace are powerful because they are consistent. She does not wear them like a mask in public and remove them in private. She lives them authentically, whether in the quiet of her home or in the crowd of her community. Her children see it, her neighbors notice it, her friends feel it. She does not need to pretend, she simply is. And that authenticity makes her life a message louder than any words. Even when she is tested, her dignity holds. Even when she is overlooked, her wisdom remains. Even when she is mistreated, her grace does not vanish. These qualities are not shaped by environment. They are fruits of her character. They flow from the inside out. And because they are rooted in eternity, they cannot be taken by circumstances. She is not flawless, but her flaws are covered by the way she carries herself. Her mistakes do not define her. Her dignity does. Her setbacks do not limit her. Her wisdom redeems them. Her trials do not destroy her. Her grace transforms them. This is why she becomes a light to those around her. People see in her proof that it is possible to live with dignity in a world that tries to strip it, to walk with wisdom in a culture that celebrates foolishness, to carry grace in a society that often chooses cruelty. Her life itself is her message. She does not need to preach because her actions already reveal her values. She does not need to demand respect because her presence naturally commands it. She does not need to prove anything because her character proves it all. And when others look back on the way she touched their lives, they realize that what they admired most was never her possessions or her titles, but the way she carried herself with honor, with wisdom, with quiet grace. This woman, loved deeply by God, shows that real greatness is not about how high you climb, but about how well you carry yourself wherever you stand. It is not about how loud your voice is, but about how steady your walk is. It is not about how much you gather, but about how much you give of yourself with love, with wisdom, with kindness. And in the end, her story will not be told through the things she collected, but through the lives she touched, the homes she strengthened, the communities she shaped. Her dignity becomes strength for others. Her wisdom becomes a compass. Her grace becomes healing. Together, these gifts make her more than a blessing to her family. They make her a blessing to the world. Wherever she goes, she leaves behind the mark of someone deeply loved by God, someone who carried that love with humility, with light, with gentleness. She becomes a living proof that dignity can be preserved, wisdom can be grown, and grace can be practiced daily. Her worth is not loud, yet it cannot be denied. Her influence is not forced, yet it cannot be stopped. Her presence is not temporary, yet it can never be forgotten. Through her life, one truth shines clear. When God places dignity, wisdom, and grace upon a woman, she becomes more than just a figure in her home or her neighborhood. She becomes a light, a standard, a legacy. She becomes a woman whose story cannot be erased, because it is not written in books or ink, but in the hearts of those she loved and lifted. A woman loved by God carries a strength that does not crumble under life's pressures. She will be tested. Storms will come. Loss and rejection will knock on her door. But she will not be destroyed. Every trial refines her spirit. Every challenge shapes her character. Every hardship deepens her faith. When the world thinks she has reached her breaking point, God is quietly shaping her into something even stronger, turning her scars into testimonies and her pain into wisdom. Hardships do not take away her worth. They reveal it. Whatever fire touches her cannot destroy her. It only purifies her, burning away what is not meant to stay and bring out the gold within. A woman loved by God does not measure her days by how easy they are, but by how deeply she endures them. When doors close, she does not sink into despair. She trusts that God is guiding her to better paths. When people walk away, she does not collapse in bitterness. She knows divine love has already filled the empty spaces. She learns that storms are not punishments, but classrooms. Every hardship becomes a teacher, every setback an invitation to rise again, every pain a seed of compassion that allows her to bring comfort to others. Her resilience is not flashy, it is steady. She may weep through the night, but her tears water the ground of faith and grow strength that will blossom at the right time. People may look at her and wonder how she still smiles, how she still serves, how she still loves after heartbreak, betrayal, and disappointment. The truth is she does not rely on her own strength. She is held up by the one who has called her his own. Because she is beloved by God, no valley is wasted. No burden is empty. No trial is in vain. Each refining moment makes her a vessel of blessing. She becomes someone who can encourage the broken because she has known brokenness herself. She can guide the lost because she has walked through her own confusion and been led by divine light. She can stand firm for her family, not because she has never been weak, but because she allowed God's love to turn her weakness into strength. People may see the glow of her life, but behind that glow is a story of endurance that could have crushed her. But instead it crowned her. That is why a woman loved by God never believes her trials were wasted. She knows her darkest nights prepared her for brighter mornings. She understands that her crushing seasons created the oil of anointing that now flows in her words, her actions, her very presence. She carries dignity with a quiet authority that cannot be faked, because she has walked through the fire and found God standing beside her. Her resilience is not by chance. It is living proof of God's hand over her life. She is chosen not because she is flawless, but because she is faithful. God's choosing was never about a spotless past or perfect behavior. It has always been about the heart. It has always been about the willingness to keep believing when belief costs everything, about the courage to keep standing even when standing feels lonely, and about the humility to bow before God when the world expects pride. A woman loved by God does not carry the pressure of perfection, because perfection was never required. Faithfulness is what sets her apart in heaven's eyes. Faithfulness is not a one-time act. It is a daily choice. It is not about never falling, but about rising again each time. It is about showing up with a heart surrendered to God even when the body is tired and the soul feels heavy. It is about whispering prayers in quiet moments and believing that even the smallest prayers move mountains. A woman loved by God may not have the cleanest past, but she has a determined present and a hopeful future. She has decided that no matter what life brings, she will not let go of the one who never let go of her. This kind of faithfulness transforms ordinary days into sacred offerings. It turns daily tasks into worship. When she cares for her family, she does it as if serving God. When she works with integrity, knowing her reward comes from Him. When she speaks, her words carry grace and truth. Her heart has been trained in faithfulness. She does not need a stage to prove it. God sees the devotion hidden in her unseen moments. He knows the strength it takes to rise at dawn, to keep going when tired, to hold her peace when provoked, and to trust Him when the future is unclear. Faithfulness is not glamorous. It is not always celebrated. It does not often bring quick results. But it builds a foundation that cannot be shaken. On that foundation, God places His favor. When others overlook her because of flaws, God looks deeper and sees loyalty. When others disqualify her, God qualifies her because she has stayed steady in His ways. She is chosen because she stays, because she endures, because she obeys even when it costs her. There is power in her consistency. She does not need to announce her worth because her life already declares it. Every time she chooses prayer instead of despair, she testifies of her faith. Every time she forgives instead of holding a grudge, she reveals God's love within her. Every time she gives even when she has little, she proves that her treasure is in God, not in things. The world may measure perfection in outward polish, but heaven measures devotion in quiet surrender. That is why she is beloved.